Hello and welcome to No Spoil Speed Reads. I'm your host, Claire Rivers, and today we're taking on a novel that'll have you triple-checking your locks, Colleen Hoover's Verity. Buckle up. This is a story that just might haunt your dreams. All right, let's dive right into it. Verity by Colleen Hoover is a book that's honestly hard to explain without giving yourself goosebumps. Imagine opening a door you're not supposed to, a quiet creak, and suddenly the air around you feels heavier, like it's watching you. That's precisely what stepping into this story feels like. So, the premise: you meet Loan, a writer down on her luck who's offered the job of a lifetime. She's asked to complete an unfinished manuscript left behind by Verity Crawford, a once famous author who's, let's just say, now out of the picture in a very unsettling way. The moment Loan steps into Verity's home, you can practically sense the walls breathing. There's this constant tension, this nagging feeling that you're trespassing, and any second something or someone could step around the corner. It's that edge of your seat mix of comfort and danger, like cozy wallpaper hiding cracks that might swallow you whole. Colleen Hoover knows exactly how to keep you up all night. She paints a world so vivid that even silence has a pulse. It's not just a room Loan's in. Hoover writes it so the entire house seems to be listening, creeping, waiting. And about that manuscript Loan's supposed to finish? Let's just say it's more than a regular writing project. The second she opens it, you get the sense she's peering into something she really shouldn't. Every page pulls you deeper into a web that feels disturbingly personal, like you're trespassing right along with her, and you can't tear your eyes away even when your neck hairs prickle. Now that we've cracked open the door on the story's chilling atmosphere, let's take a look at the twisted relationships that fuel the heart of Verity. Verity tackles some seriously dark, emotional ground when it comes to relationships. We're talking layers of obsession, manipulation, and control so thick, you'll feel like you're sinking in quicksand. These connections aren't just messy, they're suffocating. Every interaction carries a weight you can't quite place. Take Loan. Her vulnerability is so raw and real. Then there's Verity, or rather the shadow of Verity, who flips the script on you without warning. You're constantly wondering who's pushing and who's pulling in this dynamic. Who's the predator, who's the prey, and honestly, it shifts moment to moment in the most unnerving way. Colleen Hoover never lets you settle into easy empathy. One moment, you're rooting for Loan's struggles. The next, you're questioning her motives. Meanwhile, Verity, despite being more of an ominous presence than a straightforward character, evokes both pity and fear. How do you pick sides in a game where both contenders seem to be losing? And those power plays? They're braided right into the story's DNA. It's not just the characters manipulating each other, it's the story itself manipulating you. Vulnerability versus control, victim versus aggressor. It's so deliberate, you don't see how you've been pulled in until you're knee-deep. Loan stepping into Verity's world feels like walking into someone else's nightmare and realizing it might just be yours too. It made me wonder, how do power dynamics shape the way we respond to characters? And how does vulnerability turn someone into either a target or a weapon? That razor-thin line is exactly where Hoover performs her high-wire act. No safety net in sight. After that deep dive into volatile relationships, let's shift gears to the real question lurking behind Verity. What's the truth? And can we even believe it when we see it? Now let's talk about one of the juiciest pieces of Verity: truth and perception. This novel constantly makes you question what's real. Are you sure you can trust what you're reading? Can you trust Loan's perspective? And scariest of all, can you even trust your own instincts as a reader? There's a dual narrative running through the book. One side is Verity's manuscript, which feels so raw you might want to set it down just to breathe. The other side is Lowen's everyday reality, which is equally twisted. As these stories blur, you'll catch yourself asking if anything you're reading is reliable. That's the real magic trick, the unreliable narrator. You're never sure if someone's flat out lying to you or if there's just no single truth to uncover. It begs the question, when every piece of the puzzle seems wrong, which piece do you choose to believe? Or maybe we just cling to whatever feels least dangerous. And it's not merely the characters deceiving you. The book's ambiguity itself ramps up the suspense. With no certainty, every detail could be life-changing. You'll be hanging on every word, desperate for something solid, but you won't get it. That's the beauty of Verity. It's infuriating in the most addictive way possible. It's not just a psychological thriller, it's an elaborate dance with reality, forcing you to admit that sometimes there's no clear answer to be found. And hey, isn't that how life goes more often than we'd like? All right, before I sign off, let me introduce you to my brand new rating system, the Nightlight Necessity Scale. It's pretty simple. I give each thriller a rating from 1 to 5, based on how urgently you'll need a comforting glow once you've finished reading. A 1 means you'll sleep like a baby with the lights off. A 5, you'll have every lamp, hallway light and flashlight on all night long. For Colleen Hoover's Verity, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 on the Nightlight Necessity Scale. The tension, the creeping dread, the way it stays in your head after you've put it down, all of it means you'll want at least one nightlight nearby. It's not quite a full 5, but it's close. And believe me, that says a lot. That's it for this episode. If you're in the mood for a psychological thriller that will push you to the brink of your comfort zone, I say pick up Verity. Just don't forget to keep a light on. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more no-spoiler reviews, and stay tuned for the next read that will keep you up past bedtime. Until then, keep wondering and keep reading.